thought you said something that was really important, and something I think is more intuitive. We've been talking about this now for a couple of weeks, but the United States is not known for grand shows of military force. And so as we look back in history of, hey, where did this come from? Where did this idea originate from? We know back in 2017, President Donald Trump was attending Bastille Day in France, the parade there, and that was part of where some of this idea came from. Of course, it is the president's birthday today. He's turning 79, and he wanted this military parade to show off the patriotism, the pageantry that is the United States of America. It has been over 30 years since we've seen a parade like this. Do you think we may start to see these more frequently?
I don't know if you'll see them more frequently. I mean, I think they should be more strategic. I think 4th of July is a great time to celebrate something like this with all services present so we can honor them simultaneously. But I don't think you'll see an increase of this, but you are right. We don't have an inkling of doing this all the time. It's not, we're humble.
Yeah, I mean, I think the former defense secretary, said, when you are exceptional, you don't need to brag about it. You just need to show up. General, I want to get your take on what we're seeing right now. Again, more service members, more artillery. It has certainly been a sight this afternoon.
Oh, it absolutely has. You're seeing the infantry squad vehicle. Now, when I was in the Army, I got out in 2015 and transitioned. We didn't have those high-speed little vehicles. They were little rat patrol cars there. But you're still seeing a mix. You're seeing Bradleys here. You're seeing, the Strykers have gone by with the infantry squad vehicle, which a lot of folks will say, well, it doesn't look very kind of protective. Well, it's really not meant to go into, direct fire. It's meant to get soldiers around the battlefield quickly. It's meant to have the lethality that you need. That lethality is a squad that dismounts, right, and engages with the opponent. So, and then you're still seeing some of the 119ers, the towed howitzers. But that's a good picture of the squad, the infantry squad vehicle.
This infantry squad vehicle you're talking about, you mentioned this, but it allows commanders greater freedom of movement and action. And so is this something that you are specifically trained on, or is this something, as a part of the Army, they would just say, hey, you're going to be in charge of this or that, or how does some of that work?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to figure it out, like soldiers have done throughout history. When you look at every war, every engagement, soldiers at the contact level figure this out. Sometimes it's not the general way back in the back, it's somebody there. The hedgerow device in World War II in Normandy. I mean, if you just go back and look, even in modern times, remember I said action, reaction, counteraction. You have an improvised explosive device, right? It goes off. We do the analysis. We figure out how to counter that. Well, the opponent gets a chance too. So it is a cat and mouse. So it's very advanced. It's exciting. I've been training everything from motorcycles to Jeeps to trucks to airplanes, you name it. And then certain individuals have talents and skills, and we vector them into this type of area. So whether it's driving, whether it's Jeeps, whether it's Bradleys, whether it's heavy machinery, helicopters, cyber, you name it.
I think what we're also getting education on as well is sort of the science of combat, right?
Yes.
It's clear that all of these items, all of this equipment serves a very specific purpose on the battlefield and elsewhere, and that they are used appropriately to fight, defend. And what we're learning is sort of how all of these vehicles are sort of working together in tandem to create, which is what we know it to be, a powerful defense.
Yes, combined, integrated combat is what it is. No element, field artillery, or the infantry, or the armor, or the aviation can operate alone. It's integrated, synchronized to have an effect. And so that's the way we train. We do it at our National Training Center, we do it at Joint Readiness Training Center, we do it in Germany. And so we train this hard, but it starts as a building block approach. Individual soldier skills, mastery of those skills, collective skills that take it all the way up to the Corps, division, and Army level.
Something I found really fascinating, as we look back at the history of the Army, we wind it all the way back. The Continental Army was originally composed of soldiers from Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Virginia. So specifically in our area, this is a point of pride and legacy.
Well, a lot of Virginians will tell you the nation started in Virginia. In many ways,
I'm a Virginian, and that would be correct.
Amen. So am I. From 1607 at Jamestown, fast forward and let it unplay, and you'll see Virginia there. And every era, every conflict, and again, Virginia's still engaged, and so I'm quite proud of Virginia and what it's contributed.
It was good to see Governor Glenn Youngkin there starting us off with that video. And again, we are looking at not just the crowds, but our U.S. Army now making their way down Constitution Avenue, we have seen some pretty incredible equipment going down the street, and with that, a really proper education in terms of what goes into making them combat ready, but the skills important to making sure that these are ultimately good soldiers.
I think you said it really well, Larry, when you said the science of combat, the science of the military, helping people like you and I who do not know the inner workings of the Army and what it takes to necessarily defend a nation the size of the United States. We're kind of getting a crash course in what that looks like, what that means, and the pride that comes with serving. Something I did want to mention, we are seeing some of the flags. I don't know if they're going to show it again. I was curious, some of the different flags that they're showing. We're seeing our president again on his 79th birthday. Do you see the different colors? Any idea? Can you bring me into that conversation?
So each branch of service in the Army, whether it be artillery, which is kind of a more maroon red color, infantry, light blue. You know, so each one of the branches have a different color. And that's what you're seeing now. Cavalry will be the kind of the gold color. This is the 101st, what you're seeing here. This is the Screaming Eagles. The 101st Air Assault Division used to be airborne. Its lineage goes way back. But certainly World War II, which you're very familiar with. Also the Battle of the Bulge, the Bastille, the Battling Bastards of Bastille, and that's in our history, written that way. Surrounded by the Germans, and you have a guy named George S. Patton Jr. With the 4th Armored Division that breaks out Bastille. As a matter of fact, the National Museum of the United States Army, we have Cobra King, which was the lead tank, Sherman tank. Wasn't the Bradley or the Abrams that broke the besiegement of Bastille. And that famous word when we were asked to surrender, and McAuliffe said, nuts. Simply responded, nuts. And we did not surrender. And the rest is history.
And still have it to this day.
Okay, we are listening to this parade as it is underway. There are supposed to be flyovers. There very well could be flyovers. It's a bit overcast, a bit humid, and I would use the word misty.
Yeah, which is why they started the parade early. We knew about these sort of showers making their way to town, that it could be disrupted to the festivities today. The president was clear early on, rain or shine, that they were going to be out there and continue to celebrate and honor our U.S. Army.